Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another of our Mailbox Power Success Spotlights. My name is Wendy McGee, and I am so excited to be with you today and to be sharing with you another one of our amazing success stories, and that I get the privilege of interviewing this beautiful lady. So before I tell you more about her, let me introduce you to Irma Parone. She is a founder and president of Parone Group. She is also an author and a speaker. And an executive consultant. And she has been using Mailbox Power for many years. She is an expert with Mailbox Power, and she is going to share with us today how she is using it, how it has affected those in her circle, how she's built relationships, and just her story. So welcome, Irma. Thank you for being on with me today.
Thank you. Love it.
I'm so excited to have you tell them more. So I didn't probably do the greatest job of introducing you. So why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little about your history, as a businesswoman, what you've done, kind of just give us a little feel for who you are.
So I've been in the client service industry for many, many, many years, servicing customers and employees and working toward developing the kind of relationships where customers not only stick with you, but highly recommend you to others. So to do that, I work with from the frontline employees to the leadership and developing those relationships all along the way, plus providing that high value service.
Yes, awesome. Well, and I love that when we talked last, so I had the opportunity to talk with Irma for just a little bit before this interview a few weeks ago. We talked about her book, we talked about her career, and I was so impressed with everything that you've accomplished. And I think the thing that really stuck with me was how you really wanted every single person that worked with you or that you were, how many people did you say you were over? Like 3,000 or something, a lot of employees.
Yeah, in the last company before I formed my company, it was about 1,500, and before that, I don't even remember the number, but yes, a lot of employees, a lot of
So
employees.
a lot of
Yeah.
people that you were working with, responsible for, wanted to motivate, to inspire, to help feel needed and wanted and important in the company, and I loved that. And so, if you're watching this video and this interview today, Irma is going to tell us a little more about her experience, but she used Mailbox Power in a little bit different way than maybe some of our businesses use it. And she used it for employee appreciation, employee welcomes, helping customers to feel like the company knew who they were, just sending notes, sending gifts, and all of that. So, Irma, why don't you expand on that a little bit more for me?
I I think this is like the best thing since peanut butter and jelly. I mean,
Yay! I love that.
yeah, I mean, I use it. In fact, I think I used it a little bit too much for a while. I think I kind of got so addicted to it, but it was such a way to welcome people into our company. I would
Yes.
send I had in my last, as a senior vice president, I had, branches throughout Florida. And for all the branch employees, I would send welcome cards and birthday cards and holiday
So
cards and
awesome.
sympathy
Yes.
cards and get well cards and all those things. And then the branch managers would send welcome cards to their employees. Well, I also sent, it's so easy to use this system because you could create a card and put an insert name field. So I also had a card set up for when an employee did something really great at a client
Yes.
location. I would have the branch manager let me know, and I would just, shoot them out a card. It would insert their name, and it said something like, "Hey, I heard what you did. You're the kind of person that makes us who we are. Thank you so much." And so I
I
would shoot
love that.
those out to employees. And then I sent them to clients, welcome. I would send, again, the birthday cards and all the other card. It's so easy to have a sympathy card or get well. I even send fun cards to dogs. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but
I love that.
I send birthday cards. I stole something off of YouTube with dogs barking, and
Yes.
people love their dogs. Their dogs
People
are
love their dogs.
yeah,
Oh, 1,000%. And
yeah.
well,
So
and I
even
love
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
even if
Continue.
people left, like the great employees that I wanted back, I
Yes.
would send, good luck. We were honored to have you. Stay in touch. And then I set up campaigns. So at least once every 6 months, they would hear from me. And we got a
Oh,
couple really good employees back. Did the
you're
same
amazing. I mean, just the amount of time that you put into the relationships that you were building and thinking outside of just that particular time. Like, you know what? I mean, that life is all about friendships and relationships and networking. And you end up. I'm here at Mailbox Power because of a relationship that started 20 years ago,
right.
and I didn't ever know that I would be back here working with Justin after we had basically built a company together literally almost 20 years ago, and I've known him for that long. But I love how your reach and those personal touches and the things that you sent went beyond just those that were even working, for you and with you in the company. And I don't know if you're watching this, like, did you get a welcome when you came onto your job? Do you even get a birthday card from your employer? And if you're an employer watching this, think of what a difference you can make in the culture. Like Irma created a culture of feeling cared about and feeling like seen. And you told me, Irma, some great experiences with this of without me telling the experience for you, but of how people that met you felt after recognizing that you were the one that had been reaching out to them.
Oh, there was one story, and this was a long time ago. As I said, I would always send a card to say, "Hey, great job," to the frontline employees.
Yes.
And one time, an employee was suing the company, and in the role I was in at the time, I used to reach out to them just to say, "Hey, I'm looking into it."
Yes.
I wasn't trying to pressure them or anything. I just wanted them to know who I was. And
Know
one
that
girl,
somebody was listening and looking, like you
right.
said, looking into it. Yes.
So this employee said, "Oh, you're Irma." Well, I always tried to get out there and get to know my employees. So I said, "I am." And she said, "You're the one that sent me the card." Well, I knew what it had to be because for years I've been doing the same thing for the
Yep.
frontline employees. And that's if they did something great, I would send them a card. And so I pretended like I remembered what it was, but I hope she's not listening, but I didn't. And I said, well, you know what? People like you are so valuable to us. They're the people that make us look great. And she paused and she said, "I'm not going to sue this company." So I looked at the phone and I thought, either it's a bogus lawsuit or she's going to sue the company.
Right. Yes.
I
Right.
looked into it. It was a valid lawsuit.
Oh,
One of
wow.
our newer supervisors told her she couldn't get a promotion because our client did not want a female supervisor.
Oh,
Valid.
wow.
Do you know that that lawsuit went away? I mean, I was shocked.
Oh, Irma, that's an amazing, amazing example of how powerful this product is. And
Well,
like,
just the recognition of people, just to say
yes.
thank you and to, you know, and when it goes to their home and their family can see it. With one
Yep.
of my one in my last company, the largest customer for the company, when I was taking him to lunch, because I used to take, the larger, we had a lot of clients to lunch. His wife had cancer. And so I called him to make sure we were still meeting. And I said, "Hey, how's your wife doing today?" I always asked about her. And he said,
Yes.
"She's having a good day." I said, "Why don't you pick her up? Take her to
Yeah.
lunch with us."
Bring her along. Yes.
So I got to know her. I found out when their anniversary was. I started sending them anniversary cards. When I left, they ended up inviting my husband and I to, a couple places they went. And when I left the company, he told my boss, he said, "I think Irma's the nicest person I ever met." And it was
Oh.
just over little tiny things,
Well,
you
Irma,
know.
you stood out so much from probably every other experience they'd ever had with anyone as an employer or as a supervisor or as someone that was in the corporate world. Often, probably the majority of the time, they don't meet someone like you and
Well,
someone who's
it's
willing
just,
to take that extra step and
and it's
send
not like
things to
a
them.
card, it's such an easy thing to do.
Yes.
You just have to do it. You have to recognize the importance that those little touches are. I mean, even without a card, I mean, I took a dog bone to one of our employees who got a new puppy, and you would have thought I gave him $1,000,000.
Oh, well,
Mailbox
just because
Power,
it's so rare, like it really
I
is
know.
so rare. And like you were saying, Mailbox Power makes it easy, but you still had to, take that initial step and say, I want to do something more for my employees. And
Yeah.
and I think that is I talk to so many users and so many amazing customers and affiliates of Mailbox Power, and that seems to be a common thread of these are people who care about people. They want to do something more to build the relationship. They are looking for something more than just, hey, a text or a little welcome email, or they want to have those people feel that way. And really, I can tell, I am sure that you have thousands of people that you've worked with over the years that feel this way about you because you're such a go-giver, because you have implemented and used a system like this. And that creates just amazing relationships that, follow into new companies, follow into the fact that you've written a book or multiple books. Have you written more than one book, Irma?
Well, the first book that I wrote, I actually didn't write alone. I was part of a bigger group, but that ended up, and I only wrote that with an intention to write my book. I wanted to say I was a published author, and that one
Yes.
ended up being an international bestseller. So now I could say I'm an international bestseller.
Wow. And by the time people are watching this, so we are going to be carrying Irma's book, cross our fingers, at Mailbox Power so that you could send that to other business owners, to friends that you meet on a plane to say thank you. Maybe you end up sending it to all of your employees because you want it to go with a thank you card or a, hey, I just wanted to let you know that we appreciate you. And another little secret that we don't have yet, but probably by the time some of you are watching this, we are going to be adding the ability for you to inscribe on the inside of a book. So you could send Irma's book and write your own message that would be printed here at Mailbox Power and would go with some brownies or go with a card or go with, whatever you wanted to send. Wow. That just gives that personalized touch. So Irma, I don't know, did I tell you about that already? Did you know about the inscribe?
I did not know about that.
Hey, well, that is a little secret that I'm letting out of the bag, but we are just weeks away from being able to do that. And our goal too is to have many, many authors at Mailbox Power because we are, more of our customers are business owners like you that are wanting to send something maybe a little bit more inspirational, motivational, something that someone can look at and read and get the message from that. And so, yes, that is something that is coming. And probably by the time most of you watch this, we already will have that feature. So I just feel like those kinds of things that are heartfelt, how fun for Irma to be able to keep personal inventory of her book with Mailbox Power if she wanted to. And she can send those out inscribed from her too. So that will be another feature that we will have. But Irma, tell me, so I have some notes that you sent me. So I want to be sure that we hit on all of the things that you shared. But is there anything else? I know that we were talking about kind of some of the, I guess, statistics around Mailbox Power. Do you want to share some of those things that you shared with me?
Well, I'm not sure which ones I sent you, but are you talking about the 1 to 3% of prospects are ready to buy?
Yes, I think that those are powerful. I think that would be awesome. I'd love to have you share that.
So when I had my salespeople sending things, little cards and little gifts to prospects, I found this, and I don't know if I found it on Mailbox Power or where I found it, but I loved it. I'm going to look at my notes if that's okay.
No, that's okay. I'm looking at mine too because I wanted to be sure that we mentioned this.
So 1 to 3% of prospects are ready to buy now. So when you're meeting people, even if you're out in networking events or you're going to meet prospects, understand only 1 to 3% are ready to buy now. And then 3 to 15% prospects will be ready to buy soon. And 15 to 25% of prospects will be ready to buy later. And 26% of prospects, who knows when they'll be ready, maybe even never, but don't forget they talk to others.
They talk to others, yes.
So they can know you, they can like you, they can trust you, but if they don't remember you,
there it is.
When they need you, and with Mailbox Power, with this powerful tool that you can, send. I mean, the other thing I'm just rambling, I know.
No, I love it. This is perfect. We want everyone to hear everything you were thinking. So go,
Okay,
go, go.
so the other thing was Mailbox. You guys have the recipe cards that go out every month.
Yep.
Well, a client of mine loves to cook. It's a guy, he loves to cook. So I
Yes.
put him on this recipe card list, and he gets and every time he gets, my recipe card from me through Mailbox Power, he'll always shoot me a picture or something. I mean, it's just little touches so that they do remember you.
Yes.
So if
Yep.
when you're talking to prospects and you really want to learn about them, hopefully you're digging in to find out what they love to do, then you can either find one of Mailbox Power campaigns or you could create your own. It's just,
Yes.
it's amazing.
It really is amazing, isn't it? And I love that you have used it within your company and, that you saw kind of maybe not a need, but maybe a need, a place where you could recognize people more. You could touch, reach out and have them know who you are. You could do lots of touches with our automations that would be continual. And even like when that, lady said, I got your card, you're the one that sent me that card. It's automated so you can have that personal touch, that personal feeling, and still be able to continue to do all the things that you need to do in business because we don't have time to write 1,500 cards to people, even though we'd love to.
Right.
So that's where Mailbox Power comes in and allows you to automate all of it and to do those things that you want to do and have those amazing relationships. So Irma, is there anything else that you would like to share that of your experience with Mailbox Power before we close our interview?
Just that, I mean, new employees are so hard to keep because, when people are applying with you, they're also applying to other places. So it's very
Yes.
easy for somebody to grab them away. And unless they have a reason to say, no, I'm not interested, if they don't know you yet, if there's not a reason that you've touched them, I mean, I don't know. I sound like I own
Relationships
Mouth.
are everything. Like and people feeling like this is what I think is so amazing about what you've done is you have really like stood above the other experiences that people have normally with employers. They feel seen, they feel heard, they feel even just opening a card with brownies. We were laughing the other day because Justin, who's the owner of Mailbox Power, got a birthday card signed from himself and was still excited. He's like, I got this big envelope, and I was like, oh, that's from me. And he still opened it and it was signed by him. And he was giggling because he was like, isn't that funny? Because I sent the card to myself, basically. I
That's
mean,
so
just
funny.
it literally is that like amazing feeling of opening something that you don't expect and having
Right.
it come from someone. And you work hard in your company as an employee. And a lot of times you don't feel seen. You don't know if you're making a difference. A lot of times you don't even know if you're doing a good enough job to keep your job. Like, how
Right.
reassuring would that be to get something from your, executive vice president or someone way up the line who's saying, hey, Jan, I really appreciate you. We see you. We're happy you're at our company. That probably made employees sleep better at night knowing they had job security there. So
That reminds me of
awesome.
something else I did.
Tell me.
I started sending when I got so out of control with this stuff. I just loved it.
I love it. I love it.
I started sending in 30 days after a new hire started. I would
Yes.
send them a card and say, just checking on you.
Oh, I love it.
Don't forget I'm here. Respect your chain of command. Please, do things the right way. But I appreciate that you're with us and just want to make sure everything's okay.
That is huge. That is
People,
huge.
you can't imagine the calls that I'd get. Or if I'd go somewhere, they'd say, oh my God, because I would try to visit with employees when I was out in the field.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
I'd get so many comments saying, I just really appreciate that. So,
Well,
I mean,
because you don't, especially in corporate jobs and even in smaller companies, I think sometimes people just feel like they're working, but does anybody notice? Does anybody really care? Is there anyone I could go talk to if I needed someone?
Right.
So you created, I feel like, a community of, openness, probably feeling like this was a company that would listen to me well, obviously, because you didn't get sued. So yes, you definitely did
I
that.
still can't believe that
I
one.
mean,
That one
let's
was,
be honest.
yeah, that
Yes.
one was
So
amazing.
so
And I,
you had
I
yes.
just think that, now as a consultant, I work with my clients to try to get them to do the same thing. And sometimes it's hard to get them to see the big picture,
Right.
because my job is to help them help every person at every level of their organization thrive and develop those kind of relationships with their employees and their customers. Of course, you have to do a good job, and we work on that, but also develop relationships. And it's so hard sometimes for people to see the benefit until they start using it. It's
Yes.
like it took me a year to get you here. Now you're using it and you see the difference. So
Well, and
it's yeah,
investing in your employees, because that's what I see it as. It's a little bit of an investment. I feel like, I can remember when I was working as a dental hygienist and early in my career, and the dentist I worked for was really good at this. He did gift cards, he did trips, he did little bonuses in your check. Like, I felt appreciated, like little things that he did
right.
that made it different for me when I went to work for a different dentist that didn't do that. And I felt much more loyalty. I felt cared about. I felt like someone actually saw me in that business because my personality is to do the very best that I can, no matter where I am. And so if I'm getting a little bit of recognition, that goes a long way. That recognition is repeated, right? If you want it repeated, recognize it. And so that's
Yeah.
amazing. But
Yeah.
Irma, thank you so much for letting me interview you today and sharing your experience with Mailbox Power and the way you've used it and your success with it. I so appreciate it, and I know anyone who's watching this will have loved this interview.
My
So
pleasure. My
you're
pleasure. Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you. And to all the people out there that allow us to do this. So it's wonderful.
Well, you're
Appreciate it.
wonderful, and if you are watching this and you would like to do this, you'd like to be able to be like Irma and share, and connect and build relationships more, check out mailboxpower.com. Go over there, take a look at our direct mail platform. That we have so many capabilities over there and so many things, like Irma mentioned, that you can send different gifts, greeting cards, the ability to track your mail. We have a list builder. I mean, I could just go on and on and on. And we have a chat feature within Mailbox Power that you can talk to us live anytime, during business hours, I guess, but we're here to help you and to support you. And we're so excited that you've checked us out. So thank you again for being on. Irma, thank you. And you guys have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye. See ya.